Alright. It's gonna be what if Deku's brother was Todo. Wait, no. This is gonna be what if Todoroki's brother was Deku, or something like that. And you may be thinking, Blue Fire, he must have cremation like Darby, or Toya Todoroki. Manga spoilers, oh my god. No, he doesn't have cremation. He has something that I would like to call Frostfire, or something like that. So pretty much his fire will be blue, but extremely cold. It's like in the negative like 200 or something, like really freaking cold. And like, but when it hits something, it will create ice, and this ice will be extremely hot, like hot enough to melt metal. And like, it I just think it would be cool to have this kind of ability. But yeah, so I'm gonna just start it off. So that Todoroki, he's being born. He has been given birth. Wait, that doesn't make. Just ignore that. That just sounds weird. So, Todoroki's born. Endeavor has been nice to all of his children. He still just wants the perfect successor to defeat All Might. And then when he sees Todoroki come out, he has like red and white hair, like half and half. So he's like, yes, this is perfect, yes. And like Ray's like, why can I still feel something? He's like, ma'am, there's a second one. It's like, what? There's a second one? Yeah. Just keep breathing, She's like, Deku's born eventually. I don't know how long after. Doesn't really matter. He has like light blue hair, and I was like, what? I don't know what to do with him. And what would you like to name your son? And they're like, we didn't have a plan for this one. I guess, Zuko? Sure. Yeah, like, they're just having a conversation, like, Ray and Endeavor, like, okay, just name him Izuku. Yeah, sure, why not? And Endeavor doesn't really care about Izuku at all. Like, he's found his perfect successor. Well, not successor, the ultimate weapon. Like, I did say Todoroki would always have a good childhood, but I never said Deku had to. So, Deku's gonna have a bad childhood. See, I found a loophole. Anyway. So, like, for the years of his life, Deku is pretty much just being ignored by like everyone in his household. Like, Todoroki's always been like this main attention to like Endeavor, Ray, even his brothers and sisters and sister. Like, he's just pretty much being ignored by everyone. So like, he just kind of doesn't build any attachments to anyone of his family, and a little bit of hatred towards Todoroki and like his father. He kind of just hates everyone, really. So like, and then like 4, like, Endeavor does like just do stuff for him. Like, he'll say like, Izuku asks for like, I don't know, a chocolate. He'll just go, yeah, sure, go get it. Like, he doesn't really care. But he still like sends him to a private school. He doesn't train him or anything. That's like just all Todoroki. It's like, it's just like on the day of his quirk, like, awakens, it's the same day as Todoroki's. Like, his awakened first, and like, something happens, like, that kind of allowed him to realize. His hair kind of turned to fire. Like, his hair just kind of lit on fire, like blue fire. So his hair will just be fire, because I thought that would be cool. And then she's like, Izuku, your hair, it's on fire. He's like, what? And he's like, he doesn't know what to do, so he's like patting his head, like, what do I do? Then he kind of realizes it's not hurting him. He's like, what? He kind of just stops, and the teachers are still panicking. Like, what the fuck? What the hell are we supposed to do? So like he's like touching his hair, like kind of feeling it, and like it still feels like hair, but like it's fire. It's like waving like fire, and like it looks like fire. You know, and Deku says, "Wait, I think it's my quirk." And he's like, "Huh? What?" He says, "Yeah, I can. It's fine. I can touch it." They're like, because he's immune to his quirk, but like not everyone else. Like like one of the teachers goes to touch it, and like it touches it, and like ice forms on their fingers, and like it burns them a lot. They have to get rushed um like the nurse's office to get like 3 bags of ice on their finger. They have to like crack it off. Like everyone's like, "Wow, Azuka, your quirk's so cool, yeah, well, yeah." And then like this is when Todoroki's quirk activates. And then he starts like making like fire and like ice. And like everyone's like looking at Todoroki now, like he's like, well, Shoto. This is gonna get hard to say. Yeah. When I say Todoroki, it means Shoto. When I say Azuka, it means Azuku / Deku. And like everyone's like now focusing on Todoroki. And like his his quirk. And like they're all like, "Wow, that's so cool, you have a half and half, that's so rare." Like the teacher's like cool, and Devos and Ray like, "Excuse me, ma'am and sir, your sons have appeared to activated their quirk." Then Endeavor gets like takes the phone from Ray and is like, "What really? What's Shoto's quirk?" He says, but it looks that it appears to be a half and half quirk." He says, "Thank you," and like before they can even tell him about like Azuku's quirk, they just Endeavor just hangs up. 'Cause, he doesn't really care about Azuku. So like they quickly rush down. Like Endeavor halfway like destroying a villain. I'm just kidding. He was at home, day off or something. So like they pick him up, and like Todoroki gets picked up. Like they start driving off, and like Ray's like, "Oh damn it, we forgot Izuku," and like Ray's like, and Endeavor's like, "Oh, I guess we should probably bring him." And like they kind of reverse back, and Izuku's like, "Guess they don't care about me." Like they didn't even notice that like his hair is fire. Like, bruh, that's like taking either being oblivious or like purposely ignoring things to another level. But yeah, so like they take him to the quirk doctor, and like Shoto, like they get the quirks evaluated. Shoto's is deemed to be half cold, half hot. Yeah, half cold, half hot. And like Endeavor just says, "Oh, okay, cool, great, yes, finally." The doctor doesn't even get to say Izuku's quirk. Even though it's stronger than Todoroki's, or I don't know. If someone thinks it's stronger, then it's stronger. I don't really care. But like, they just pick up Todoroki and say, "Wow, you have such a strong quirk." They just walk out, and the doctor's like, "Hey, kid, did they forget you?" He said, like, "Yeah, I guess so." He's like, "But you have why would they forget you?" He says, "They just ignore me because my brother has a half and half quirk. His quirk doesn't affect him either, so makes him the best." And the doctor's like, "But your quirk is stronger than his. By the tests, your fire is both colder and hot at the same time." He's like, "What?" He says, "Yeah, well," he explains his quirk to Izuku, like, you can use your fire and it will make ice appear. It'll freeze whatever it touches, and the ice will be hot, really hot. Like, it is very strong." Like, I had something in my head now. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, that doesn't matter right now. Anyway, so like like Izuku says, "Okay, thank you." He says, "Kid, quickly go to your parents." He's like, "Oh yeah." Like, he's running out. Like, he says, Mom, Dad, wait for me. Like, oh, yeah, Izuku. Like, they're not purposely ignoring them, but, like, you just kind of do it subconsciously, I guess. Oh, consciously. No, subconsciously, yeah. Like, they care about him, but they just don't at the same time, I guess. Like, they're in the car, and, like, Todoroki's in the back. He doesn't really notice, like, Izuku's being ignored yet. And neither will he care. And Izuku starts trying to explain his quirk to his mum and dad. Like, they pretty much don't care. Like, they're listening to music or something in the car. Like, not giving a crap. But yeah. So, like, they're just driving home and, like... Actually, I'm gonna make one person care about Izuku and his family. Yeah, Natsu. Natsuo, I think. Or Natsu. No, Natsu is the guy from Fairy Tail. No, okay, sorry. Because, he has an ice quirk as well. And, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. So, like, they come home and, like, Endeavor picks up, like, Todoroki, what's it? Simba from Lion King, like, look, he has the perfect quirk. Like, everyone's like, wow, that's so cool. Everyone is, like, talking, Izuku's kind of, like, in a corner, like, they don't care. Natsuo walks over to Todoroki, not Todoroki, Izuku, and says, hey, what's your quirk? He says, oh, my quirk's frost fire. He says, oh yeah, what's that? He says, well, my fire is hot and cold and I don't know how to explain it. I don't really want to do that voice and explain it. He kind of just explains it. And, like, Natsuo's like, wow, so cool. Like, and is that why your hair looks like fire? He says, yeah. He says, wow, that's so cool. And then Izuku's like, oh, really? Thanks. He says, yeah. Like, that's pretty much, like, his, like, the only person that cares about him, like, but yeah, so, I'm gonna, like, I'm gonna do a little skip, a while, they're in, like, high school now, pretty much, like, skipped 14 years, actually, I'm gonna skip 13 years, they're 17, and, like, it's, like, the same private school, like, Todoroki, Murmur, and Ito, like, he goes to that as well. And Izuku kind of personality is, like, a little bit like Bakugo, I guess, like, he always wants to, like, just fight someone to prove himself, I guess. But he hates Todoroki a lot. But, he's nice to a lot of people, but, like, kind of cold at the same time. So he's warm and cold. Wow, I'm not doing this on purpose. So, like, like, I'm gonna say, like, they're at lunch one day, and Izuku kind of sits by himself, because no one really cares about him, they all care about Todoroki. Like, the random school bully, I know, some powerful kid. I'm gonna say his quirk is, like, yeah, he can make spikes or something. Like, he can turn his body, like, he can make spikes out of his body. And this kid with, like, his two henchmen walk over, it's like, hey, you, like, what could they call him? Hey, Firehead. He's like, that's not my name. He says, I don't care what your name, just give us your, I don't know, give us something random, I don't know, lunch money, something. He says, no, why should I? He says, because I said so, like, he starts making spikes on his fists and, like, arms. And, like, I'm gonna say, like, whenever Deku gets married, his hair turns red, like, deep red. I'm gonna say Deku fights like a firebender, like from Avatar. Like fire, like punches, and like the fire comes out. He kicks and stuff. Like he still can make like he like can still do like what I guess like what Toya does. I guess like put his hands on like make giant fire blasts. He can still do that. But whoops, wrong way. So like the kid says, and Deku just like gets up and says, "No, I won't give it to you." It's like I wasn't asking. He throws a punch and like Deku dodges because I'm gonna say he's done a few fights. Like he's kind of experienced in fighting, I guess. He ain't some pathetic weakling either. He kind of built, I guess. That lean buff, I guess. Like the kid throws the punch and Deku dodges, and then he uppercuts the dude. And like the guy's like on the ground now, like it's like wipes his jaw, like, "Oh, you're gonna pay for that. You're gonna pay for that." And then like he like gets up and like tells his goons to attack Deku. Like they do because they're kind of scared of him as well. And the goons like attack him. Like I'm gonna say one dude just had a strength quirk. Another dude, I know there's a random ass quirk. Some are good, some are bad. There's like 5 of them. Whoops. That's just a reminder for some random thing that I forgot to delete. Should probably do that. Anyway, so like they like one dude tries to punch him, like Deku kind of dodges, and like he dodges most of the hits, and like he doesn't really like using his quirk on people because it really hurts them a lot. Like actually, I'm gonna say like he can control how hot the ice will be. Like either it will be like 1,000 degrees or something, I don't know, hot enough to melt metal, or like normal ice. But yeah, like, so like he's like not trying to use his quirk because he doesn't want to get in trouble more than he would do for getting in a fight. Like the good one dude like punches him and like in the face, like gets a lucky hit. This one like the spike dude like comes up and like starts punching him, and like he gets like a few bruises and stuff, like even a few cuts from like the spikes and stuff. This one like Todoroki intervenes because he's kind of the same as Endeavor and Ray. Like he still cares about Azuki, but he just doesn't at the same time. Then he kind of intervenes, like he like sends a fireball at like the spike dude. It hits him and like it didn't really do anything. Kind of just pushed him back. And Todoroki says, "Stop that! Like stop." And Spike says, "Oh, whatever." He says, "Come on, just get away." Because like he has like a bloody nose. Todoroki walks over to him and like puts his hand out, says, "Hey, here," like he's gonna like try and pull him up. Deku just slaps his hand away and like gets up, says, "I don't need your help." He just like grabs his food, like his food tray, and just like walks up and just throws his food away and puts the tray on top of whatever the bin that they put the food in. He just goes to nurse's office and just like gets patched up, I guess, best way to say it. Yeah. And like Deku thought like maybe I should start. They could easily just beat me like that. If I want to become a hero, then people are going to be gang. More than 5 people are going to be ganging up on me, probably with stronger quirks. I gotta start getting better. So he starts his training like pretty much what he would do in 10 months training early. So he'd be doing like a Saitama workout, 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups, 100 pull-ups or whatever. I don't know. I can't remember Saitama's workout, 10-kilometer run or something. But yeah, he pretty much does stuff like that, but he won't get Saitama strength. He does get pretty strong. You know, like, and like he trains his quirk. Like, they have like some special room, I guess, for like training fire quirks. I mean, like no one really sees him train because no one really cares. Like, sometimes Natsuo like watches him do it. You know, he's like amazed like how strong he is because like what he's like because you know it's really strong. He can pretty much melt metal with ice. It's so weird. So, you know, like he pretty much like trains like the ice that his fire can create, which is weird. Pretty much like where it's hot enough like to really hurt someone, but like not to actually like burn them to a crisp. So pretty much like what happens when you spill hot water on yourself, like that. But yeah, so he pretty much just does this training for like next year, you know. But yeah, so skip till the 18, I guess, and final day, Teach comes in like, okay, everyone, your forms have been filled out, and it seems all of you want to be heroes. Woo, yeah. You know, he throws the papers up and like, yay, and like Ida gets up like karate chopping like, you shouldn't be doing that. Like, teacher, I know it's a celebration, but you shouldn't be doing this. And he's like, oh, calm down, Ida. It's just a little fun. He says, sorry, sir. No, let me just say they're all in the same class for some reason. Damn. Sometimes I have struggles thinking of the ship, and it kind of just popped into my head. Because I like the Ravenclaw what ifs on Jack Frost deku. But yeah, I just thought of the ship could easily just be a girl with white hair. Anyway, sorry. Breaking the story. And like everyone's kind of showing off their quirks, and like, well, not really everyone, but like, pretty much the dumbasses are showing off their quirks. Best way I could describe it. And he says like, oh, looks like we have a few people here doing, going to UA too with recommendations. Wow. You know, so okay, we have okay, we looks like from alphabetical order. So we have Ida Tenya. Wow, yes, I think you can do quite well. Shoto Todoroki, very good. Yeah, no, Izuku Todoroki, Shoto Todoroki. Yes, you two both have very strong quirks. Would be surprised if you both get in. And Momo Yaoyoro is like, oh yes, you can do quite a good quirk, and you're very smart as well. Very good. And everyone's like, wow, these all of them are like really strong, especially like Todoroki and Ida, and they're out of they're all like, wow, they're all so strong, like except you know Izuku's like pretty much the weakest out of all of them though. And like people are kind of just whispering this, and, like Izuku he's like, and his hair is kind of starting to like turn red a little bit, like little sparks of it. And it starts crackling and stuff. But yeah, you know, some people kind of shut up because you know they kind of like understand what's happening. Like he's getting mad, and they kind of don't want to be burned. But yeah. You know, like, and like, they end the day, and like, Izuku just picks up his bag and just walks out without talking to anyone. Like, I'm gonna say that was the last period. You know, it's like, you know, and like, he gets home and like, he kind of just like goes into his room, slams the door. You know, like, I'm gonna say he has like something to punch. I don't know. He like punches it like really hard, and like he has like I'm gonna say he has like one of those like things that, like you punch and it kind of falls back but then comes back up. He has one of those. He punches it and like it pretty much just breaks. You know, and like it kind of like hits something, like makes a big noise, not so it comes like, hey, what's wrong? He says that they keep calling me weak, keep calling me worse than Shoto. I don't get it. Why? And he's like, I just don't worry about it. They just Todoroki just has a rare quirk. That's all. He says, but mine, I can easily beat him. Why? He's kind of just like getting more hate for Todoroki. Like that Sasuke hate for Itachi. But yeah. So like, Natsuo, they just kind of have a long conversation, Natsuo eventually calms him down. Says, but yeah. And then eventually, like, they get a knock on his door. It's Todoroki. He says, hey, Izuku? Izuku, do you want to train? He says, what for? Why? He says, because we're trying to get into UA. Don't you want to be strong? Izuku just kind of like, he gets up and just kind of hits Todoroki's shoulder, like his shoulder, so like, no. He says like, Todoroki asks Natsuo like, what's wrong with him? Like, why is he always mad? He says, you haven't realized, have you? He says, what do you mean? He says, no one, Dad and Mom have really never talked to him or paid any attention, either as Toya or Fuyumi, or even you. Like, even on your guys' birthday, they don't even talk to him. Like, they just give him the necessary things. And Trevor was like, what do you mean? Like, no, they don't. Like, they always talk to him. And then he kind of like looks back on his memories and like realizes that Deku's really never part of any conversations, like any good memories. Like, he's never with them. He's like, I guess, yeah. And like Todoroki like stops talking, like goes to walk up into Endeavor and is like, hey, Dad, we should probably talk to Izuku. He says, well, why? We need to train you, not him. We don't need to talk to him. He says, just think about it. We've never really talked to him. He says, well, yes, we do. And then he kind of does the same thing as Todoroki. Realizes that he really doesn't have any memories of Izuku. He just remembers like him asking for something, and like he says, yeah, sure, whatever. It's like, oh God, what have we done? And like Ray, and that was kind of having like, he has a run over, he like walks up, goes to Ray's room, their room, I guess. It's like, Dio, we need to talk to Izuku. He says, why? He's like, we never talk to him, like we don't do anything with him. Todoroki says that he hates us, like, I don't know, we've clearly done something wrong. She's like, I guess so, yeah. Like, I'm gonna say, it says, yeah, I'll talk to him tonight, you go talk to him now. Like, he says, okay. Todoroki goes with Endeavor, and I'm gonna say he's training his quirk. Like, he's training, like, their little practice room, like, he has, like, a big, like, thick metal sheet of, like, I don't know, like, 10 centimeters thick. Like, they kind of just watch him, like, for a little bit, They see him, like, punch, and, like, the fire comes out, the ice hits the metal, it just starts burning through. And I was like, what the? That's his quirk? That's his quirk, like, I never noticed. And, like, he's pretty much just doing this, like, taking his anger out. Like, it was pretty big, like, the size of a wall, but, like, now it's just, like, a big a puddle of, like, red hot metal. And, like, he shoots another fireball at it, and, like, it all just freezes, like, it wasn't cold, it wasn't hot this time. Like, and that was like, whoa, like, what the, that's his quirk, like, I I didn't. Wow, it's so strong. Like he can be another weapon as well. I'm just kidding, no. And it's like, oh god, I didn't really actually plan the conversation. Oh no. Anyway, like Endeavor like comes in and says, "Hey, Zuki, how's training going?" He says, why do you care? He says, I just wanted to have a conversation with you. He says, you never wanted to before, why now? He says, And that was kind of like lost for words. And Izuku says, that's what I thought, and kind of just brushes past him. But yeah, so then pretty much for the 10 months, he kind of just trains, and he gets his ice down to really suitable temperatures. Like his ice is now really cold. It can either be really cold or really hot. His fire is just cold and hot at the same time. Like if you get hit by it, it'll burn you and freeze you at the same time. I really don't know how to explain it better than that. But yeah. Yeah, so like once it's all done and stuff, the 10 months, Azuku, he's walking into the UA area. I guess, he's walking in. Like he sees a girl trip. She hits face first into the concrete. He starts laughing. The guy just walks past. She's embarrassed. But yeah. I don't know why I did that. I watched a What If before and it kind of restored my faith in Uraraka a little bit. But not really. I guess I won't call her useless anymore, but I still hate her a lot. Anyway, he kind of laughs. He just walks past. Ida's like, oh, I'm gonna say Ida like helps to back up. He couldn't get over time, and he sees Azuku laughing. He's like, oh, what an asshole, asshole. He saw a girl fall over, and he laughed. And Uraraka's like, thank you. He's rubbing her face like, oh, I didn't see this step. He says, yes, it's quite alright, just maybe you shouldn't be so scared or frightened. It's if you try your hardest and focus, then you'll be sure to get in. He says, oh, thank you. What's your name? He says, I am Ida Tenya from the Tenya family, hero family. He says, oh, really? My name's Uraraka. I don't know why I'm focusing on their conversation. It's boring as fuck. Anyway, whatever. They just have their conversation. Deku walks in. He just sits down. He has to sit next to Todoroki. And like Ida is beside him. And like, even though the lights are turned off, like there's still like a bunch of light because his hair is fire. It's like making light. And this is kind of annoying Ida. Like they don't really have conversations anyway, so he just knows his name and like his last name. But yeah. So like halfway through, he says he stands up and says, excuse me, you forgot to mention the 0-pointer. I'm disappointed in such a prestigious school for forgetting this. And Izuku, stop making your hair so bright. And Izuku's like, what? Like he's kind of getting mad. He's like, do you understand that I can't stop this? My hair is fire. It's turning red. And like, he's getting up and I don't know, I'm gonna say he's tall. Why not? Endeavor's tall. So I'm gonna say he's Endeavor's height, 6'2". Because why not? I really don't understand. No, I'm pretty sure Endeavor's 6'4". Nah, he's just gonna be 6'2". And he gets up and like he's kind of like looking a little bit down at you. And he's like, whatever. Just I can't control this. So sit down. He was going to explain it, and shut the fuck up. And he just like kind of like he just sits back down. He's like, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. But anyway, he says, and Prism like, thank you, boy with the blue hair. But as he just said, I was going to explain the 0-pointer. It is simply just an obstacle, blah blah blah. I don't really care why. I don't care or know why I'm explaining it. You already know why. Everyone gets prepared. Oh wait, I forgot to do the written exam. Yeah, he got like second or third. Doesn't freaking matter. He's smart. Let's just say that. Wait, no, Todoroki's in recommendations. Doesn't matter. Todoroki wasn't there. Sure, why not? So like, he's getting ready. And like, the gates open. He just starts running out. And everyone's like, what? Why is he running out? He's cheating. And Prismatic says, what are you guys all waiting for? Follow him. And everyone's like, oh god, oh god, oh god. And like, the teacher's like, are watching, because like, he's pretty much the only one that did that. Like, I'm gonna say 2 other people did it as well. They're smart. Like Kirishima or something. Just in a different area. Like, first robot he sees, he blasts blue fire. All the teachers are like, oh, okay, he just has a simple fire quirk. Easy. That's quite a good quirk. And then, like, the fire touches it and, like, it freezes the whole robot. And, like, this catches a few people's attention. And you're like, what? That's weird. And then it gets even weirder. The robot starts melting. And everyone's like, what the hell? And Nezu sees this like, hey, you, can you please give me the files off that boy there? Says, oh, yeah, yes, sure. Says, okay. Azuku Todoroki. Oh, it's Endeavor's son. I thought he said he only had one. He only ever talks about one. Anyway, Frostfire creates blue fire that freezes anything it touches. You can control the temperature of the ice though between really high temperature and -200. Wow, that's quite a strong quirk. I guess he'll be quite good. Like throughout the exam, he pretty much just like saves a few people, like 10 in total. He gets like under 15 hero points, but he pretty much destroys every single robot he can see. Like he gets up a total of 60 points just from villain points. Then it's the damn starting to storm. Then eventually it's the 0-pointers. Everyone's kind of like grouped up in a big area because that's where all the robots are left. They kind of like circled into one area. But then like the 0-point, like boom, boom, boom. Oh, get away! It's just a 0-pointer. There's no point attacking it. It's a good kind of just like starts like, oh, I guess there's no point either way. And then he is like, help! That's all Rocco trapped under the rubble. I'm gonna say Azuka grabs Ida like by the shirt collar, by the back, kind of like pulls him back and says, Ida, see that girl over there? He says, yeah, what about her? Wait, there's a girl? And he says, yeah, you go get her and I'll destroy the robot. Go. And Ida starts running and like grabs Uraraka, like breaks the rubble or something, grabs Uraraka, starts running away. Is then when Azuka like starts like creating a little ball of fire. And like he kind of condensing it and stuff. It's kind of getting a darker blue. And then, he kind of like points it towards the 0-pointer. And, and like it makes a huge ball of fire. Like it like pretty much it engulfs like from the legs up. Like the whole 0 point is frozen. Like he decides not to melt it because that would destroy a lot of property. That would destroy a lot of buildings as well, along with causing unnecessary harm to any person near. So he decides not to melt it. That was weird. And yeah, so then Azuki says, okay. And that kind of tied him out a little bit, like, because that was like a big attack. But then President Mike says, okay, that's the exam over. Please, we will be sending a letter to your homes. If you didn't get in, try and apply to different schools. Alright then, see ya. That just sounds like an exit to a YouTube video. Anyway, sorry. But so like, and then Zuko goes home. And like, Todoroki tried to like there was a limo waiting for Todoroki and him. Todoroki got in, but he just doesn't care and he starts walking home. And Todoroki says, hey, Zuko, why don't you come with me? He says, I don't want to. Like, okay. So that happens. He's walking home. But yeah, he gets home eventually. You thought there was going to be something. You thought? I'm just kidding. It's like, nothing happens. He just gets home. Eventually the week skips. He gets his letter. Says to like Todoroki, to Shoto Todoroki, one letter, and to Uzuki Midoriya, another letter. One letter Todoroki's letter has Endeavor and what's it? And Uzuki's letter has All Might. Because why not? All Might's letter. Congratulations, young Uzuki Midoriya. You have passed the UA entrance exam, scoring 3rd on the written exam and 1st on the practical exam. You got a total of 60 hero villain points, but you also saved people, scoring you an extra 75 hero points. These points were hidden from the test to rid out the true heroes. Congratulations. Please report on Monday. Please go to UA grounds to set up your dorm. You'll be staying there from now on. But yeah, so week time skip. Again, he's going to the dorms, getting set up. His is unfortunately next to Todoroki's. Todoroki does like not ancient, Japanese style room. His is just like, I don't know, he has like a punching bag. I don't know, pretty much it. He doesn't care that much about things. He has a few things that remind him of his room at home. Has a picture of him in Natsuo or something. Because why not? I don't care. Room isn't really necessary. But yeah. A day later, everyone's getting ready. They all go to class at the same time. Everyone's like kind of talking to each other, like, oh yeah, my name's blah blah blah, my quirk is this, whatever. I can do that. They all get in. Dazuka's not really talking to anyone. Like, actually, no, he's not talking to anyone. And Hagakori's not in this class. Like, she's just in class 1B. The places there's like a girl with white hair. Haven't decided her name, quirk, personality. Actually, no, her quirk is. She doesn't have a name yet. Her quirk is wind and ice control. no, wind manipulation or something. I don't know, some weird ass winter slash cold quirk. I don't know. I'll decide later. You know, she doesn't have a name yet or a picture yet. But you know, Azuku sits down, kind of like at the back, because he doesn't really want to talk to anyone. You know, and like the girl sees like the blue fire, and like she kind of like sits next to him and says, "Hey, what's your name?" He says, "Azuku." She says, "Oh, my name's whatever. Her name is." If someone, I'll either think of one or someone can give me one if they want to. I don't know. So, what's your quirk? He says, Frostfire. He says, oh, that's a cool quirk. What can it do? He says, I create blue fire that freezes things. He says, oh wow, that's a pretty cool quirk. He says, yeah. He's like, wow, I'm not very chatty, I guess. But you know, like for the next like 8 minutes or something, they just keep on talking. You know, eventually Aizawa pops up. It took you 8 minutes to shut up. That won't do. Okay, I'm your homeroom teacher, Shoto Aizawa. Please put these on and change and go to... You know, he's like, this is actually me struggling, but I'm gonna just improvise. It's like kind of Aizawa just like waking up. Like, just go out there and get ready for a test. You know, everyone gets changed. You know, Kirishim's like, whoa, dude, you're super buff. Like, you gotta send me your workout routine, he says. Sure, why not? It doesn't matter to me. So it's like, what's your name? He says, my name's Azuku. He says, what's your quirk? He says, Frostfire. He says, well, what's that? He says, I can create fire that freezes things. That's a cool quirk. He says, yeah. That's pretty much just going to be the conversation that he has with anyone for a little bit. Like, just how he introduces himself. One word answers with a brief explanation of his quirk. But yeah. So, you know, like, everyone gets outside. And, you know, like... and then, like, Aizawa says, okay, can Azuku... Todoroki, please come up. You got first on the entrance exam. And Baku's like, what? He got first? I was supposed to get first. I don't know why I'm doing that voice for Baku. That made it weird. And Azuku comes up and says, shut up. He says, shut up, you weird looking dog person. And Baku like rushes. I'm like, what'd you call me? And before Shoto, Aizawa can like even put the wraps around him, Azuku puts out his hand, like does a giant like fireball, and everyone's like, what? Why didn't you just kill him? Did you just kill him? And, you know, like the fire, the steam / smoke kind of disappears. And, like Baku's frozen like mid-run. Everyone's like, what? But he just burned him. Like, what the hell? You know, Aizawa says, okay, can you get him out? He says, yes. You know, he says, no, he'll have to thaw out. She says, oh, okay, okay, I guess you'll be going last, and Bakugo. Baku's like, you know, he kind of can just move his eyes, that's it though. But yeah. So, you know, Azuku throws the ball. I don't know what he would get, like, he would get quite far, so, with like normal strength, so like 125 meters or something. You know, Aizawa says, okay, now use your quirk. Azuku says, what do you mean? He says, use your quirk, that's what we're doing. He says, okay then. And he throws the ball and like puts both of his hands out and like starts making a giant fireball and like pushing it forwards. You know, like the ball freezes over. And like hits the ground like, I'm gonna say, 500 meters away. Because he wouldn't get first, like, maybe like mid, because like, that's just, what are you gonna do? Like, Baku can literally make an explosion, like, bruh, I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, so Aizawa says, very good, it was like, wow, that's so cool. Can't wait, this is going to be so much fun. As I was, as I was like, if this is going to be so fun, then whoever gets lost is going to be expelled. Mineta just gulps because, like, he just knows he's weak as fuck. So like for the rest of the test, Azuki pretty much like gets like first, second, or something. He's like physically strong. Like he runs fast, good grip strength, side to side, push ups. I guess he gets first in them because he pretty much does them every day. Man, so yeah. And so it says, okay, I was just kidding. No one's going to get expelled. I was just doing this to push you to your limits. It's like, oh, thank God. Yeah. Like a week later, they pretty much just doing normal classes and stuff. Eventually, like, the waiting for Aizawa to come in. To, like, do their class, and they hear thud, 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 thud. I am here, coming in like a normal person. And, everyone's cheering like, whoa, yeah. Azuka's like, yeah. He doesn't really care that much. He admires All Might for being such a good hero. Like, for always smiling, I guess, in the face of danger. He said like, okay, we'll be doing the heroes vs villains. I'm not going to explain it this time, because why not? He's like, okay, what's a hero without their costume? And, like, Azuku's costume is, I'm just going to say it's like a... I'm going to say it's kind of similar to Todoroki's thing. I'm like newer costume. It's kind of similar to that, except like just a few things changed. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Todoroki has like his old costume, and like I'm gonna say like he gets inspired by Deku's one, but Deku doesn't have to regulate his heat or anything because his body is completely immune to it. And the thing that happens is he just gets tired eventually. So it's pretty much just like a blue jumpsuit with like a few things like for medical stuff. And the All Might says, "Wow, you all look so great in your hero costumes." Okay, to do this, I'll be randomly picking names out of a hat to make it as fair as possible. And so I'm gonna say Deku and Todoroki on the team versus Bakugo and Ida. And Todoroki's like, hey, okay, what's the plan? He says, I don't care, let's just do this and get it over and done with. He says, okay, then, he says, I think that guy with the blonde hair might come and fight us, don't you think? He says, sure. Okay, then. And Todoroki's like, okay, then, yeah, sure, yeah, okay. And then All Might says, okay, start. And like they start walking in. And and Bakugo eventually comes around and like, should he die? And like he creates an explosion, like Azuki just puts his hand up, the fire comes out, like it freezes the explosion midair. Everyone's like, what? He can do that? Bakugo's like, huh? What? He says, pathetic. I can count your quirk easily. And then the fight goes on for a little bit. Like Azuki, like pretty much just the same thing. Like Bakugo's trying to run around and trying to get a sneak attack, like trying to blow him up. But Azuki just freezes the explosion every time. Todoroki's trying to help, but like he can't. Like they're moving too fast. And then eventually, like Bakugo says, fuck this! I'm gonna kill you!" And like he starts getting the thing like. All Might says, young Bakugo, no, that's gonna kill him. And like, he says, not if he freezes it. like, he pulls the pin, and, this is finally when Todoroki gets to do something. Like, he, like, creates, like, a bunch of ice walls. And, like, he even freezes Bakugo's gauntlet and stuff. And, like, the explosion does quite a lot of damage, but, it knocks them back off their feet. Like, they're on the ground, Bakugo's, like, frozen. But, yeah. Like, but yeah, Bakugo's frozen, Deku gets it, like, you didn't have to do that. He says, Todoroki Robin is like, but we got him. He says, you got him. I did nothing. I just tied him out. So you did everything. Then, like, there's still, like, a little bit of... He walks through the hole and, like, grabs the tape and, like, captures Bakugo. Like, yes, they keep on walking up. To kind of recover from that little fight that they had. Ida's up there, like, haha, I am a villain, blah, 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 blah. Then, that's not good. I shall do this. And, like, Zuko just kicks down the door and, like, blasts him with fire. Making him freeze. He's like... He says, well, that's done with. He touches the bomb and says... Okay then. Well, see ya. He just starts walking out. Like, hero team wins, He's already out the door when White finishes that. He doesn't even bother to do anything with Bakugo and Todoroki. And Todoroki's like, sorry, Ida, he can be like that. And sometimes he says, sure, don't worry about it was just a test. Like, now that everyone's seen, like, Deku in action, like, they're like, wow, he's really strong, like, the strongest out of all of us, like, one of the strongest out of all of us, like, he's quite strong, maybe he's, like, just on par with his brother, I guess. But yeah, so, they all get back in, everyone else fights goes the same, yeah, I don't know, that's where I'm gonna end it off, because why not? I won't be doing any more new what ifs, I'll just be continuing the old ones, or ones I'm doing. But yeah, see ya.